get at the core of God at his greatest, one must first get into the core of himself at his least. For no one can know God who has not known himself.
In parts 1 and 2 of The Universal Teacher, we have seen Satya Sai Baba amidst his daily activities of giving darshan as he walks among those who have come to him. We have seen the thousands from India and around the world who gathered for the Third World Conference of Satya Sai service organizations. And over this visual panorama, we have heard some of his words, an introduction to his message. But words and pictures can only convey part of the experience. Because Satya Sai Baba not only conveys his message in words, but embodies and manifests it as well, the impact of his presence generates tremendous power. Not the power of one who might wish to dictate, manipulate, and control, but the power of love, to console, to encourage, and perhaps most of all, to inspire an inner faith in God and the divine potentiality of life which allows for self-inquiry, self-discipline, and that most difficult of human activities, change. One result of Sai Baba's power is that it draws people to him, the devout as well as the curious. And those who come often do not want to leave until they intuitively feel or consciously realize the truth of Baba's words when he says, "I am in your heart," and therefore he is with them no matter where they are. One such group is the college students who have lived in close proximity to Baba and find upon graduation that it is time to move on. So a group of the graduates asked for permission to form an alumni group which could meet each year on the day before Sai Baba's birthday. This has become a day of awards, speeches, entertainment, and a celebration of the continuing commitment to the education of minds for the purpose of spiritual growth while living and working in the world.
In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explained to Arjuna the relationship between the senses, the mind, the intelligence, and the soul. The senses control the body. The mind controls the senses. The intelligence controls the mind. Being closest to the soul, the intelligence best reflects the attributes of the soul, and the influence of the soul falls directly upon the intelligence. Therefore, the intelligence functions as the presiding faculty in man. The human mind is continually engaged in the process of thinking, generating often conflicting impulses. Its fickle nature acts as an impediment to spiritual progress, and therefore it is imperative that every spiritual aspirant gain control over his mind. It is the intelligence alone which has the power to make decisions and discriminate between good and bad. For going about in a chariot, it is the chariot driver who has the most important role to play. Neither the horses that draw the chariot, nor even the owner who is seated therein, is competent to ensure a safe journey. It is the charioteer alone who can do it. If he is not accomplished, the horses will run berserk. Therefore, he must be competent enough and experienced to do his job properly. Krishna said, "Arjuna, your body is a chariot, and your senses are the horses. Your mind acts as the reins, and your intelligence is the driver. If you let your intelligence guide your life's journey, you will reach your ultimate destination safely." Arjuna emerged victorious in the battle because the Lord, the source of all intelligence, was his charioteer. To install the Lord as the charioteer is the most sacred and felicitous means by which we can attain the goal of life. Krishna also said to Arjuna, "The joy which you seek and the self-realization which you aim at are both within you. They cannot be found in the external world. You think that this world and its objects confer happiness on you. This is an illusion created by your mind. It is only when you follow the intelligence that you will be able to enjoy the bliss of the soul.
On this day, Sai Baba's discourse was followed by a performance by the world-renowned artist Ravi Shankar, accompanied by Ustad Alaraka. Satya Sai Baba once said of Ravi Shankar's music, "It gives people an experience of bliss, even though they may not be aware of it." And beyond the night sky filled with the fireworks of youthful exuberance, stars look down on an earth where once again mankind is being given the chance to transcend the solemn cycles of its history. The celebration of Sai Baba's birthday is a yearly occurrence. The World Conference of Service Organizations happens once every 5 years. When the two coincide, as they did in 1980, the magnetic field created between Satya Sai Baba and those who have experienced the power inherent in the practice of his teachings becomes the impetus for intensified practice of spiritual disciplines, more diligent service to those in need, and more open expressions of spiritual love. Sai Baba has expressed his own feelings about such celebrations very clearly.
Do not be under the impression that my birthday is being celebrated and therefore you are coming. Such trivial thoughts can never come into me. My only desire is to share my bliss with you, to encourage you to lead lives full of bliss. I do not consider one particular date in the calendar as my birthday, For I consider the date when divinity blossoms in your heart as my birthday in you. Therefore, each of you should individually celebrate such a day as my birthday. The day when you resolve to practice my advice, to follow my directives, to translate my message into acts of service, and to engage in spiritual disciplines, that day is my birthday for you. The 23rd of November, which you now honor as the day on which I was born, is only like any other day, even if you celebrate it in a routine ritual fashion. Adore man. The adoration reaches me. Neglect man, you neglect me. Of what avail is it to worship the Lord and to suppress man, his counterpart on earth? Love for God must be manifested as love for man, and love must express itself as service. I desire to tell the units of this organization that very soon they will witness the realization of all their ideals. But when success is achieved, as a reaction, carping and denigration will also increase. When the well grows deeper, the mound beside it will grow higher. That is quite natural. Some people pay attention to the depth of the well, others watch the height of the mound. I have been telling you one truth always. Your master is your heart, where God resides. You yourself are three persons, not one. The one you think you are, the one others think you are, and the one you really are. The one you really are is God. God is in you, with you, above you, around you, behind you. Differences in name and form are but temporary and external. In reality, all of you are divine.
On his birthday, Satya Sai Baba was garlanded by devotees whose devotion has expressed itself through service to the various aspects of the Sai organization. Among them were Sri Indulal Shah, convener of the World Conference, Dr. V.K. Gokak, Vice Chancellor of the Sri Satya Sai Institute of Higher Learning, Sri Sohan Lal of the Satya Sai World Council, Dr. John Hislop, President of the Satya Sai Council of America. Any gathering of people from around the world is a reminder of the shifting nature of ordinary human alliances. Life takes on new meaning when the earth, all forms of life upon it, and even the cosmos within which it floats, is revealed to be the manifestation of the same God, which continues to support and energize it.
Embodiments of love. It is not by plans of one kind or another that the world can be bettered. It is only when a spiritual revolution takes place in man that the prosperity and welfare of the world can be achieved. If the mind of man is not reformed and purified, all the plans to reform the world will be futile. Meditation is the principal means to achieve control over the mind. When we think of meditation, three things are involved: the person who meditates, the object of meditation, and the process of meditation itself. In true meditation, all these three should merge. For one who desires to begin the practice, it is advisable that light is taken as the object of the meditation. Light does not perish or change. Moreover, it is inexhaustible. There are three states relating to the mind: emptiness, the simultaneous pulls of multiple thoughts, and one-pointedness. In this process of meditation on light, the progression must be from restlessness to tranquility, and from tranquility to divine effulgence. One should sit erect, fixing the gaze on the gentle flame, and gradually closing the eyes, mentally transfer or absorb the flame into the heart. The lotus center of the spiritual heart should then be imagined as blossoming in effulgent beauty, dispelling with its radiance the dark forces of life. One should then imagine that out of the heart so illumined, rays of light proceed gradually to all parts of the body, suffusing everything with light and imbuing it with sacredness and purity all over. The whole process takes about 20 to 30 minutes to complete. This kind of meditation should not be regarded as an exercise in fantasy. No doubt in the beginning imagination will be involved, but by constant practice it will be transformed into a powerful thought wave, creating an indelible impression on the heart, leading to union with God. The meditation should not end with the individual visualizing the light in himself. He should see it in his friends and relatives, and even in his enemies. He should see the whole of creation bathed in the resplendent light of divinity. This would make him live a life full of love and happiness. Embodiments of the divine reduce your selfishness, lessen your wrong desires, foster your spirit of sacrifice, grow into noble human beings. If you dedicate yourself to these objectives, you will have realized the purpose for which you have attended this great world conference and this birthday celebration.
Dr. Hislop, President of the American Council, will now present a 16mm sound film under the title, The Aura of Divinity. The Council intends to present 16 copies for distribution to the various Satyasai organizations in the states of India.
Beloved Deva, it gives us great pleasure in America to make this small gift to our Indian Sai family. On behalf of the entire foreign delegations, our heartfelt thanks for the endless hospitality that has been offered to the foreign delegates and the great kindness in the hearts of the Indian people, which has been expressed again and again to us as a group and to us individually. Thank you, India.
The second function of the birthday opened with a concert by M.S. Subbulakshmi, India's premier exponent of devotional vocal music for over 30 years, who gave the audience the rare sight of an artist offering with devotion the fruits of a lifetime of dedication to her art.
हरि भजन को साधु आया, हरि भजन को साधु आया, हरि भजन को मने जाकर राखो जी मीरा के प्रभु कहर गंभीरा हृदय धरो जी धीरा मीरा के प्रभु कहर गंभीरा हृदय धरो जी धीरा प्रभु जी मीरा के प्रभु कहर प्रभु जी मीरा मीरा के प्रभु कहर गंभीरा हृदय धरो जी धीरा आधी रात प्रभु दर्शन दे आधी रात प्रभु दर्शन दे प्रेम नदी के तीरा मन जाकर राखो जी मन जाकर राखो जी
For the final event of the birthday, Sai Baba received the offerings of musicians while seated on the jhula, a custom unfamiliar to Westerners, but a ceremonial tradition in India. Sai Baba once explained this practice by saying it symbolizes the swinging of a newborn child in its cradle and the spiritual rebirth that occurs when an individual recognizes the presence of God within.
ईश्वर सत्य है सत्य ही शिव है शिव ही सुंदर है पवित्र आत्मा स्वरूप है
The Lord is not something outside you or extraneous to you. He is your own divine reality, which you can cognize in the silence of your own meditation when you shut out of your awareness the distraction of the senses, the mind, and the ego. In creation, in the objective world, no one article is like any other. No two human beings are similar in every respect, nor is the individual the same for any length of time. The infant becomes a child, an adolescent, an adult, and soon becomes middle-aged and then old. In one single day, the individual is changed into a wakeful person, a dreamer, and a sleeper. So mankind must seek refuge in the changeless, universal soul, from which all variety emerges and into which it merges. The world is as much God as heaven is. There are no two distinct entities or categories called material and spiritual. All distinctions are apparent, not real. The scriptures of different creeds, the Bible, the Quran, the Upanishads, the Zend-Avesta, appear different, but their aim is the same: to establish the brotherhood of man and the fatherhood of God as the basis for the peace of mankind. No creed need put on airs of superiority, as each is shaped by the compulsions of time and space, of language and levels of experience. You are all members of the same family, bound by the religion of love.
And when the birthday is past, the lights and trappings of celebration are taken down, and the ashram returns to that calm which fosters each individual search for truth, righteousness, peace, and love within the aura of the universal teacher.